I've already made a couple of videos about that little incident that took place down in Miami. Rumors swirling online that 10-foot alien creatures were wreaking havoc through Miami, and all of these police showed up. Well, it's all a bunch of BS. And, I mean, people are free to believe whatever they want to believe. I've already shown videos of the guy who started this rumor saying that he was lying and that he was just basically trolling everyone on the internet. Now, some people are going to say, well, they're trying to silence him. And listen, I say it time and time again, I'll say it again here. I am all for a good conspiracy. I am all for stories about aliens and UFOs and you name it. I am all here for it. But there is no truth to this story at all. And then I got people saying, well, why did they shut down the airports? There were no airports shut down. There were no airports shut down in Miami. There were no canceled flights. They didn't ground any flights. All of that is a complete lie. It's all a complete lie that is being repeated time and time again by some very large social media accounts. And it just so happens that this lie is being spread right as these documents are being released. These documents about these powerful people who were doing creepy things with kids. It's funny because this incident that took place in Miami, it didn't even happen today. It didn't even happen yesterday. It's like they waited. They literally waited to craft this nonsense about aliens as these documents dropped. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I know people are going to believe what they want to believe, but they've talked about this openly on the news here in Florida. It's been on the news here in Miami. This is like New Year's week. There's a lot of partying. There's a lot of chaos happening in Miami. A lot of people ask, well, why was there such a big police presence? But that's just how things are down in the South, at least in certain areas. Hell, you can get pulled over for a small traffic violation. Maybe you're riding without a seatbelt. Maybe you accidentally run a red light. You'll get pulled over by one cop, and before you know it, there'll be 7 or 8 squad cars on the scene. I know it's overkill, but that's how things work in a lot of places down here in the South. The law is still enforced down here, unlike a lot of other places. So the response that you see to these type of things, happening in Florida, it's much different than the response that you see in California. The response you see in New York. In California, hell, employees go to jail for trying to stop people from robbing stores. Here in Florida, if you're rioting, looting, and fighting and causing chaos, they're going to send a lot of cops. They will send every cop humanly possible. And that's what happened here. And there's plenty of videos of all of the chaos taking place. And like I said, they've talked about it on the news here in Florida. They've talked about it on the news in Miami. I'm about to roll this news clip really quickly for you all. But before I do so, I need a big favor from you all. I need you to hit that thumbs up button, and I need you to hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel out a lot. Now I'm going to roll this news clip. Hopefully YouTube allows me to do so, because there's a lot of things happening in this clip that YouTube usually doesn't let you show, but hopefully they let it ride. And after I show this clip, I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Area to try and get things under control, and they did. Fireworks and fights in downtown Miami. The chaos on the first night of the new year prompting a citywide emergency call. Miami police swarming the streets. 4 teens would end up under arrest, 2 of them charged with battery, after police say a driver was jumped for asking who threw a bottle at his car. Police were initially called out around 8:30 Monday night after reports of a riot and fireworks set off inside Bayside Marketplace. Then there would be fights, several of them, all involving teens.
Yeah, that was very chaotic because what they were saying was like more than one fight happening at the same time.
You know, they just started fighting. It just got crazy.
But it could have gotten crazier and even more dangerous without that massive Miami police response.
It may look like an overreaction with the amount of officers that responded, but the truth is that's really part of strategy.
I don't know about you all, but I think it's really racist that, you know, all of these young black teenagers that are out here fighting are being labeled as shadow creatures. There's a bunch of shadow creatures terrorizing the Miami Mall, and it turns out there's just a bunch of young teenagers that happen to be black. I mean, is this some racist stuff that's going on? Why the shadow creature nonsense? And, you know, this is one of the frustrations I have with this whole story, because we see that things like this are happening in cities across America, right? It's not just Miami. It's happening everywhere. And instead of actually talking about what's going on, we're taking accountability away from the people who are doing these things, away from the young people who are out here causing chaos, away from all of the criminals that are out here smashing, grabbing, and looting. We're taking accountability away from them, and we're blaming this chaos on 10-foot aliens. 10-foot aliens. We see the videos. We know it's not 10-foot aliens, right? But instead of talking about the problem, and instead of calling this story for what it is, let's blame 10-foot aliens. And let's hope that everyone starts talking about 10-foot aliens instead of the actual problem that's occurring here in Miami. And let's hope everyone talks about 10-foot aliens instead of all of the other more important news that is swirling around right now with all of these documents being dropped. And it's just crazy that as soon as these documents get dropped, we have chaos breaking out in schools, you know. We had that an attack in Iowa, and now we got this nonsense about aliens in Miami. And I'm just wondering what's going to be the next distraction story, because none of these are working out for me. None of these have been good enough to keep my eyes off the documents that have been released. And I may not be discussing those documents here on YouTube because YouTube doesn't even allow me to say the guy's name. But we're talking about it on Twitter. I'm looking into it, and I hope you all are as well. But as far as this goes, there's nothing really to this story. Hopefully one day we do get some footage of aliens at the mall. I do think that we live in a world where that is bound to happen at some point. It just hasn't happened yet. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below, even if you disagree. While you're down there, if you would like to donate to the channel, you could do so via Cash App. I'll have my Cash App in the pinned comment. Or you can donate via Super Thanks, or for free. You can help the channel by liking the video, subscribing, ringing that notification bell, and all of that good stuff. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.